Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. First things first, this is a mini video series on the self-limiting beliefs and behaviors that hold us back from pursuing our true passion and purpose in life. This is the third video in that series, so if you haven't checked out the first two videos, which is the intro video which gives you the context and background to this mini series, and the second video is on a fear of failure. So if you haven't checked those out, please do so. I will leave links above and below in the description. But today we're going to be talking about perfectionism. So there are three things that I want to present to you on perfectionism today. And number one is perfectionism versus authenticity. Now, I don't think that people are drawn to perfectionism as much as they are drawn to authenticity. People don't relate to perfect people. People relate to authentic people. Why? Because it reminds them of their true selves. And being a perfect person is not true to our nature as human beings. Alexander Pope said, to err is to be human. What does that mean, to err? Err means, for me, it means error. I'll have to look this up. But to me, err means error, which means to be human is to make mistakes. To be human is to fail. To be human is to be flawed. And to be human is to be imperfect. And that's why we relate more to people who are authentic versus people who are perfectionistic. And so if you're trying to perfect your craft or perfect yourself or perfect your products that you're trying to deliver, you're never going to get anywhere, because you're never going to get the perfect product. You're never going to look perfect. You're never going to be perfect. So you're never going to complete that process, and you're going to be spinning around forever. Now, there's nothing wrong with trying to produce something that is good enough or great or excellent. There's nothing wrong with trying to be your best self or to be excellent or to achieve excellence, which is a very different thing than perfectionism. So that's a good thing to keep in mind when you're trying to perfect everything and you're getting nowhere. It's like, is it good enough? Is it great? Is it excellent? Okay, great. Let's do it and let's move on. Okay, so point number two has to do with the link between procrastination and perfectionism. I found for myself that there is a big link between my perfectionistic tendencies and me procrastinating on taking action on the goals that I've set for myself. And why is that? So I think a lot of people who have these perfectionistic tendencies tend to overthink things. They think about the end result. Okay, let me just use the pronoun I right now. So I tend to overthink things way, I think about the end goal. And then when I think about the end goal, I immediately have this flash or flood of all the things and all the work and energy that has to go into achieving that end result of, how I see it in my mind, that perfect end result. So I'm going to use an example just to elaborate on this more. For example, I wasted years and years of my life not posting on YouTube because the end goal seemed so overwhelming. I mean, if I thought like I want to be a successful YouTuber, so the thoughts that go through my mind to achieve that success is I have to have amazing content that has never been revealed to human beings before. Like some ridiculous ideal in my mind, like content, original thought, something thought-provoking and just wow, amazing, because why would people want to watch anything less than that? I have to, including just the content, I have to look perfect. I have to have the perfect makeup on, I have to have the perfect hair, I have to have the perfect tools, camera, microphone, lighting, background, editing skills. The list is never ending. And then I end up watching videos on YouTube like how to become a YouTuber, and just the amount of detail that, that you can get into is insane. I mean, you have editing skills, there's thumbnail perfection, title descriptions, blah 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 blah. It will never, like, if that's why I got stuck for so many years, because just the thought of the end goal was so overwhelming. So this overwhelming feeling of trying to reach that standard leads to procrastination. So you put off even getting started, because why would you want to get started on that impossible journey? Why? Okay, so that's how I see the link between perfectionism and procrastination. Now I want to share with you like a super interesting article that I read on procrastination. Now, the usual self-help solutions related to procrastination has to do with just get started, just do the damn thing, just take action, but this article is somewhat different, and it was a research study actually. And this solution is different in the sense that it talks about self-compassion and kindness, having compassion for yourself in those moments versus being self-critical, self-judgmental in a negative way, self-loathing, self-depreciation, etc. So in the study, they found that usually people who procrastinate have high levels of stress and low levels of self-compassion. And they found that when people can be more kind and compassionate towards themselves, they are more likely to take action in the direction of their goals. So for example, if you're procrastinating on let's say you're doing a homework assignment and you're just like putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and the deadline is coming up, and then you're like, oh my god, I'm so terrible, I hate myself, why can't I just get started, why can't I do the thing, blah 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 blah, self-judgment, self-criticism, negative spiral. If you instead show self-compassion towards yourself and say, you know what, I've been working hard lately, it's okay, I understand the stress that I'm under and why I'm procrastinating, so I'm just gonna be a little bit kind to myself, I'm gonna take a break and maybe I'll get to it later, and if I don't get to it, today, that's okay. Like, having that kind of mindset actually puts you into action faster than the negative spiral. And this leads to my third point, which is self-acceptance. When you learn to accept yourself for who you are, when you learn to accept that you are not perfect or that you are perfectly imperfect, when you embrace yourself with all your flaws and imperfections, you liberate yourself. You free yourself to be who you really are. And Carl Rogers once said, please hold on while I see what Carl Rogers said. Carl Rogers said, The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change. Resonating? I hope some of these things I've mentioned today are resonating with you. I'm going to put a link to the article about procrastination because I think it's worth a read, and they give 5 steps to learn self-compassion or to be more self-compassionate in this article, so that could be really helpful to you. Also, I just want to mention that I think not only is perfectionism connected to procrastination, but both are also connected to a fear of failure, because we don't want to disrupt this perfect image that we're trying to portray. So that's why we fear failure. If we fear failure, if we fail, it's going to disrupt this perfect image that people have of us. So sometimes we're so comfortable in keeping that image because we're scared of disrupting the image that people have of us. So we'd rather hold on to that image than take action towards our goals. So do you see the link between fear of failure, perfectionism, and procrastination? It's exciting to me. I don't know. I don't know. It's exciting to just see all of it. And already like the bells are like going off in my head, because all of this leads to that one main self-limiting belief that affects most of us. And I'm so excited to reveal what that is in the final video. And as on the previous video, if you're already guessing what that self-limiting belief is, the main thing holding you back, then please leave your comments below, and I'm excited to see you on the next video. Take care for now. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my okay, this is the third the third video in this series. Okay, so what are we going to say about perfectionism? Book. Oh my god. No. Okay, let's start again. There's a saying, and who said this? I don't know. Is it William Shakespeare? Gosh, I will have to Google that. To make a mistake, to be mistaken, to fail, to be imperfect, to be flawed, to be human. Okay. Let's try this again. Use the pronoun I right now. Is I a pronoun?